Drive past St. Paul's Church on Highway 17 going into Lexington, and it looks like a modern structure, but actually what we see is a brick facade that encloses and added some rooms onto the original cross-shaped sanctuary built back in 1907. The Church of God in Christ emerged from the preaching of Bishop Charles Mason in this church. Bishop William Dean Jr. is pastor of the church today.
Well, this church had its beginning, and it's a long history.
And when a pastor says it's going to be a long story, well, but it's an interesting story of how, around the beginning of the 20th century, Charles Mason, a Baptist minister, was invited to straighten out some disturbing sermons a friend of his, Reverend C.P. Jones, had preached at a revival at Asia Missionary Baptist Church in Lexington, and ended up only further dividing the folks. So much so that the next time Mason came to Lexington to preach, no church would have him. So he held services on the steps of the courthouse. The crowds kept coming, so John Watson told Reverend Mason he could use an abandoned cotton storage building he owned in which to hold meetings. Now, 107 years later, obviously Bishop Mason's message of holiness caught on. In the sanctuary, although modernized with television equipment for live Facebook and YouTube feeds prompted by COVID, there's still the original pulpit used by Mason.
But I've never had anyone or seen anyone stand behind that pulpit and didn't deliver a God-sent message.
Wow.
It seems as though the spirit of Bishop Mason is yet here.
Historically, the funeral of Emmett Till was held in a Church of God in Christ sanctuary in Chicago, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his last speech the night before he was assassinated at the church's world headquarters building in Memphis.
The promised land.
Bishop Dean tells me that oftentimes people coming to the main building in Memphis are told that Memphis may be the home of the denomination now, but its birthplace is in Mississippi.
The first church of God in Christ in the world is in Lexington,
Known affectionately as the Mother Church.